Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with the microphone on this time with a screenwriter's rant about the dead half. Sorry about that first take. Thank you to who was it? Bassman 62. Thank you for pointing that out, my friend. Oh, that was embarrassing. Anyhow, The Dead Half is a low budget horror movie and it takes place in this house. And I was saying in the first take, this is the first time I've ever seen them actually use a house that looks like an abandoned house. 9 times out of 10, you see one of these movies, maybe it's got ghost chasers in it, maybe it doesn't, but it's just a house, and then maybe they put like a few things on it, but they don't have like trees growing out of it. This looks like a real abandoned house to me. So I appreciate the location scout work, and I appreciate the cinematographer's pretty good, I think, because this looks like a real movie. At least these opening shots here do outside. This looks like, a real movie. It doesn't look low budget, so it's got a nice look to it. Even the inside shots look decent, and I think it's shot really well for the most part. The cast seems solid enough. I'm not going to say that they blew me away with their acting, but I didn't feel like they couldn't act. And this is a low budget movie, so sometimes you get that feeling like, these guys can only do so much. No, these guys were okay. Yeah. This is the filmmaker who prompts it all, and I like also too that it's not just a bunch of actors, because typically they cast the guy in the role of the filmmaker with a beard, and he's supposed to be a little chubby, but he's not really fat, But this guy, obviously he's new. Maybe he's the director. I don't know. And he looks like a guy who would put all his money into this film. So anyway, they go into the house, and it's not a plot we haven't seen before. People going into a haunted house, they want to find something about it. They're videotaping, they're filming, they've got gadgets and computers. They want to know stuff. And of course, the first act would be them setting up in the house and talking about the house and what's going to happen and who the dead person who used to live there. And then the second act would be weird stuff starts to happen. Maybe somebody gets hurt or disappears or goes crazy. And, as the movie progresses, it gets weirder and weirder. Even the interiors. This looks like a real haunted house. I mean real in the sense not like movie real, but although movie real too, but it looks fairly authentic, and I like the look of it. Even this is a nice shot. You get the shadow of the leaves on this guy. You got the lighting behind him. I think they did a really good job here. I think they took a lot of care into making this movie, and his sound seems fine. As the movie progresses, I think this is the character who gets a little obsessed with what's going on in the house, maybe the ghost, and finishing the movie. They have a little seance, and things get weirder and weirder, and they find a bloody dress. He's getting, people start freaking out and arguing. Now there's a scene with somebody tied into a bed. Now this one was dark. I can't tell if this is supposed to be the ghost or one of the cast that's trapped. Might be one of the cast, because she's reaching for a flashlight, and this guy's outside shooting, and you can see he starts to go a little crazy. But there's a bit in here that didn't come off too well. Now, there's a bunch of shots, half dead. It's a good logo. That hit. That to me, you're not selling me on that slap. Should have been faster. Yeah, too slow. It's hard to do. I'm not like saying that it's easy to capture that, but you're not selling me on that. So it's probably something you could probably get away with, but the fact that I noticed it in the trailer, if you do any reshoots, I would either take this out of the trailer if you're not going to do any reshoots, or just reshoot that one shot of the slap, or see if you have another take of it. It's got to be faster. Maybe speed up the film. I don't know. The dead half, all evil. So it's typical, but at the same time, I think they did a good job with it. And I think typically when somebody puts that kind of care in a movie, I'm willing to give it a chance. I would hope that they have some different spin on it, and I gave them an upvote when I did the first take. So good job, guys. I think you did a good job. I mean, even with that one criticism of the slap, and I could almost forgive it. Quite frankly, if the rest of the movie's good, I can overlook something like that. So this is something I would look for. I have no idea. Unfortunately, there's no date when it's playing or whatever. If I had to guess, there are 2 times a year typically when horror movies are released, and that is, of course, around Halloween in the fall. That's a great time to release it, but also right now. January, February, usually a good time because, low budget stuff, sometimes it can hit during the dead times. January and February are the dead 2 months to release a movie. So if you release a horror movie and it's any good, and it's kind of the time of year, it's after the holidays, the weather's kind of crappy, and that I don't know, for some reason I think horror movies tend to resonate in crappy weather, right? In the fall and kind of in the winter. In the summer, not so much, because people want to get out and do stuff, and they want happier movies. Same thing for the spring, like they're just starting to get out, but horror buffs all year round. So I would look for this movie on something soon, or possibly this fall, but it says 2021. So good luck, guys. Nice work.